Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, staring at the massive shape that had appeared at the edge of their solar system. The alien ship was huge, bigger than anything humans had ever built. It was dark gray with strange lights running along its sides. The ship looked like it could destroy Earth's entire fleet without breaking a sweat. "Captain, we're getting a signal," said Lieutenant Amy Patterson from her station. Her voice was steady, but Jake could hear the worry underneath. They had all dreamed of this day, the day humans would meet aliens, but none of them had imagined it would happen like this. "Put it on screen," Jake ordered. The main screen flickered, and suddenly they were looking at something that was definitely not human. The alien was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 arms. Its eyes were large and black, and when it spoke, its voice came through their computers in perfect English. "I am Admiral Kethvar of the Zeridian Galactic Empire," the alien said. Its voice was cold and had no emotion. "You are the species called humans. We have been watching you." Jake stepped forward. His heart was beating fast, but he kept his voice calm. "I'm Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earthship Defiance. Welcome to our solar system." The alien's face did not change. "This is not a social visit, human. We are here to deliver a message from the Empire. Your species has 7 standard galactic cycles to evacuate this system and all your colonies." "Evacuate?" Jake felt his stomach drop. "Why would we do that?" "Because the Empire has designated your space as a strategic resource zone. All primitive species must relocate to designated worlds in the Outer Rim. This is not a request. This is an order." Amy looked at Jake with wide eyes. Around the bridge, the other crew members had stopped what they were doing to listen. Jake could feel their fear, but he also felt something else. Anger. "And if we refuse?" Jake asked. Admiral Kethvar's expression still did not change. "Then you will be removed by force. The Empire has conquered over 200 species. None have successfully resisted. Your technology is thousands of years behind ours. Your ships are primitive. Your weapons are weak. Resistance would mean the complete destruction of your species." The alien paused and seemed to study Jake through the screen. "We are not cruel, human. We offer you life on the reservation worlds. You will be safe there. You will be fed. You will survive. This is more mercy than most species receive." Jake felt his hands tighten into fists. Behind him, he could hear angry whispers from his crew. He thought about Earth, about the blue skies and green fields he had grown up with. He thought about his sister and her kids, playing in their backyard. He thought about all the humans working in the colonies, building new homes among the stars. "How long did you say we have?" Jake asked. 7 galactic cycles. In your measurement, approximately 6 months. "That's very generous of you," Jake said. His voice was getting harder. "But I have a counteroffer." The alien tilted its head slightly. "You wish to negotiate? There is nothing to negotiate. The Empire's decision is final." "No negotiation," Jake said. "Just our answer. We respectfully decline your generous offer. Earth is our home, and we're not going anywhere." For the first time, Admiral Kethvar's expression changed. It looked surprised. "You cannot be serious. We have shown you our power. Our ship could destroy your entire planet." "Maybe," Jake said, "but you'll have to get through us first. You would choose extinction over relocation?" Jake looked around at his crew. He saw Amy nodding at him. He saw the weapons officer, Lieutenant Ben Adams, giving him a thumbs up. He saw determination on every face. "We choose freedom," Jake said. "We choose to fight for our home. We choose to stand up to bullies even when they're bigger than us." The alien was quiet for a long moment. Then it spoke again, and now its voice had a different tone. Not angry, but confused. "In all our conquests, no species has ever chosen this path. They see our power, and they submit. It is logical. It is smart. What you are doing is not smart." "Maybe not," Jake agreed. "But it's human." Admiral Kethvar stared at him for several seconds. "Very well. We will withdraw to observe. When you see what we are capable of, you will change your mind. All species do eventually." "Don't count on it," Jake said. The screen went black. The bridge was silent for a moment. Then Amy spoke up. "Captain, should I send word to Earth Command?" Jake nodded. "Send it to everyone. Every colony, every ship, every human in space. Tell them what just happened. Tell them we have 6 months to get ready for the fight of our lives." "What should we tell them about our chances?" asked Ben. Jake looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the alien ship was waiting and watching. Somewhere out there, more ships were probably coming. The smart thing would be to run, the logical thing would be to surrender. But humans had never been known for doing the smart thing. "Tell them the truth," Jake said. "Tell them we're probably going to die. But tell them we're going to make these aliens remember us. Tell them that if they want our worlds, they're going to have to take them from our cold, dead hands." Amy smiled as she started typing the message. "Any particular words you want me to use, Captain?" Jake thought for a moment. Then he grinned, and for the first time since the alien ship had appeared, he felt good about their chances. "Tell them this. The aliens want us to run. They think we'll be scared. They think we'll give up our homes without a fight. They're about to learn something about humans they won't forget. We don't run, we don't hide, and we sure as hell don't quit." The message went out across human space, and everywhere it was received, people stopped what they were doing and looked up at the stars. The war was coming, and humanity was ready to fight. Colonel Pete Davis watched the reports coming in from across human space. Every screen in the Luna Base Command Center showed the same thing. Humans were not running. They were not packing up to leave. Instead, they were getting ready to fight. "Sir, the mining colonies are ahead of schedule," reported Lieutenant Kelly Ross. "They've converted 60% of their equipment to weapons production. The asteroid belt stations are building missile platforms faster than we thought possible." Pete nodded. 3 weeks had passed since Captain Morrison's message reached every human settlement. 3 weeks since the aliens had given them 6 months to leave. Pete had expected panic. He had expected some colonies to surrender. He had expected humans to act like the smart, logical species they were supposed to be. Instead, humanity had surprised him. Every single colony had voted to stay and fight. Even the small research stations with only a few dozen people had refused to evacuate. It was crazy. It was impossible. It was completely human. "What about the civilian ships?" Pete asked. "Converting as fast as they can," said Lieutenant Ross. "Cargo haulers are being fitted with missile pods. Passenger ships are getting armor plating. Even the old mining barges are being turned into weapons platforms." Pete smiled. The aliens thought humans were primitive. They thought human technology was weak. They were about to learn that humans were very good at making things explode. Dr. Lisa Zhang walked into the command center carrying a tablet. She looked tired but excited. For the past 3 weeks, she had been working almost nonstop, trying to figure out how alien technology worked. "Pete, you need to see this," she said, showing him the tablet screen. "We got lucky during that first contact. Our sensors picked up more than we thought." "What did you find?" "Their shields work on a frequency rotation system, very advanced, but it has a pattern. If we can time our attacks right, we might be able to punch through." Pete looked at the data. He did not understand all the science, but he understood what it meant. Humans might actually have a chance. "How long to build weapons that can use this?" he asked. "We're already working on it. Give me 2 more weeks. You have whatever you need, people, equipment, money, just make it work." Lisa smiled and hurried back to her lab. Pete turned back to the screens, showing reports from across human space. Every report was the same. Humans were not giving up. On Mars, General Ryan Tucker was turning the red planet into a fortress. The dome cities were being reinforced. Weapons were being installed on every building. The Martian orbital platforms were being expanded with new gun batteries. "General Tucker reports that Mars will be ready in 4 weeks, said Lieutenant Ross. "He says the aliens will have to fight for every inch." Pete nodded. That was exactly what he wanted to hear. The door to the command center opened, and Captain Jake Morrison walked in. He had been promoted to admiral after his defiant message to the aliens, but he still looked like the ship captain Pete remembered. "How are we doing?" Jake asked. "Better than expected. Every colony is preparing. Every ship is being converted. Every human in space is ready to fight. Jake looked at the main screen, which showed a map of human space. Red dots marked the colonies. Green dots showed the defensive positions being built. There were a lot of green dots. The aliens sent another message, Jake said. Commander Veltar wants to meet. He says they're giving us one more chance to surrender. Pete laughed. What did you tell them? I told them they could meet us at the edge of the asteroid belt, neutral space. But I also told them our answer hasn't changed. Think they'll come? Oh, they'll come. They think if they show us more of their technology, we'll get scared and give up. They don't understand humans very well. 2 days later, Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his new flagship, the UES Defiance II. The original Defiance was being upgraded with Dr. Jung's new weapons. This ship was bigger, faster, and armed with the best weapons humanity could build. Beside him stood Admiral Amy Patterson, promoted from lieutenant after her role in First Contact. She was now in charge of communications for the entire human fleet. Admiral, we're getting a signal from the alien ship, Amy said. Put it on screen. Commander Veltar appeared on the screen. This alien looked different from Admiral Kethavar. It was shorter, with blue skin instead of gray. But its eyes had the same cold look. Admiral Morrison, I am Commander Veltar. I have come to discuss your surrender. We're not surrendering, Jake said simply. You must reconsider. We have brought a demonstration of our power. Observe. The screen changed to show space outside. A small asteroid about the size of a city block was floating between the two fleets. Suddenly, a beam of light shot from the alien ship. The asteroid simply disappeared. One moment it was there, the next, it was gone. Impressive, Jake said. Our turn. He nodded to Amy, who sent a signal to the human ships. Suddenly, the space around the alien ship filled with missiles. Hundreds of them, launched from hidden platforms throughout the asteroid belt. They did not hit the alien ship. They were not meant to. Instead, they exploded in a pattern around the alien vessel, creating a light show that could be seen for millions of miles. That was just a greeting, Jake said to the alien commander. We wanted to show you what we've been building while you were away. Commander Veltar's expression changed. It looked worried. This is your final warning, humans. Surrender now, or face complete destruction. Jake smiled. Behind him, his crew was grinning. All across human space, people were watching this conversation. All across human space, people were getting ready to fight. Commander Veltar, let me make something clear. We gave you our answer 3 weeks ago. Earth is our home. The colonies are our homes. We're not leaving. If you want our worlds, you'll have to take them. And we're going to make that very expensive for you. The alien commander stared at him for a long moment. Then the screen went black. Amy turned to Jake. Think we scared them? Jake looked out at the stars where more human ships were arriving every hour. Cargo haulers with missile pods. Mining ships with armor plating. Even old passenger liners fitted with guns. No, he said. But we got their attention. Now they know we're not going to make this easy for them. The war was coming, and humanity was ready. Admiral Kethavar looked at the battle plans on his command screen. The 3rd Imperial Fleet had arrived, bringing his total force to over 300 ships. Against them, the humans had maybe 50 ships defending their outer colonies. This should be easy. Begin the assault on New Texas, he ordered. Standard deployment. We will show these humans what happens when they defy the Empire. The alien fleet moved toward the mining colony. New Texas was a small world with only 10,000 humans. It had basic defenses and a few converted mining ships. The attack should take less than an hour. Commander Ben Adams watched the alien ships approach on his scanner. He was sitting in the command chair of the Lone Star, a mining ship that had been fitted with missile launchers and armor plating. Around him, his crew was getting ready for battle. Sir, we count over 30 enemy ships, reported his weapons officer. They're moving in standard formation. Ben smiled. Standard formation. The aliens were treating this like every other battle. They had fought. They were about to learn that humans did not fight like other species. All ships, this is Adams. Remember the plan. We're not trying to win. We're trying to make them pay. Make every shot count. The alien ships opened fire first. Energy beams hit the asteroid mining platforms that protected New Texas. The platforms exploded in bright flashes. But as the smoke cleared, the aliens saw something they did not expect. The platforms were still there. The explosions had been fake. "Now!" Ben shouted. The fake mining platforms opened up, revealing hidden missile launchers. Hundreds of missiles shot out, targeting the alien ships. At the same time, the mining ships that had been hiding behind asteroids came out fighting. The aliens were caught off guard. Their shields absorbed most of the missiles, but some got through. 2 alien ships took damage before they could react. "Interesting," Admiral Kethvar said, watching from his flagship. "They used deception. No matter. Deploy. Boarding parties." The alien ships launched small fighters toward the human vessels. This was standard procedure. Board the enemy ships, capture them, and end the battle quickly. But when the alien boarding parties cut through the hulls of the human ships, they found something they had never encountered before. The humans were waiting for them. Sergeant Tony Martinez crouched behind a metal barrier in the corridor of the mining ship Rocky Mountain. He had 20 Marines with him, all armed with the best weapons humanity could make. When the aliens cut through the hull, Tony was ready. "Welcome to our ship," he said, and opened fire. The aliens were good soldiers. They had conquered many worlds, but they had never fought humans before. They had never fought a species that seemed to enjoy violence. They had never fought soldiers who smiled while shooting at them. The battle in the corridors was brutal. The aliens had better armor and weapons, but the humans knew their own ships better. They used vents and maintenance tunnels to attack from unexpected directions. They set traps and ambushes. When they ran out of bullets, they used knives. When they ran out of knives, they used their fists. Tony Martinez cornered an alien soldier in the engine room. The alien was bigger and stronger, but Tony had been in bar fights since he was 16. He knew how to fight dirty. "Nothing personal," Tony said, hitting the alien with a wrench. "But you picked the wrong species to mess with." Back in space, Captain Kelly Ross was proving that humans could be just as tricky in ship combat. Her destroyer squadron was outnumbered 3-1, but Kelly had grown up in the asteroid belt. She knew how to use gravity and momentum to her advantage. "Follow me," she told her ships. "We're going to slingshot around that asteroid and hit them from behind." The human ships dove toward a large asteroid at full speed. The aliens followed, thinking they could catch the primitive human vessels. But at the last second, Kelly's ships used the asteroid's gravity to change direction. They came around the other side, moving even faster, and caught the alien ships by surprise. Kelly's ship, the Texas Ranger, fired everything it had at the alien cruiser. The alien shields held, but the impact sent the cruiser spinning out of control. "Yeehaw!" Kelly shouted. "That's how we do it in Texas." The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the humans had lost half their ships, but they had also damaged 12 alien vessels and captured 3 others. Most importantly, they had shown the aliens that humans would not give up easily. Admiral Kethvar looked at the battle reports. His forces had won, but the victory had cost more than he expected. The humans had fought with a fury he had never seen before. They had used tactics that made no sense. They had refused to surrender even when their ships were destroyed. "Sir," said his communications officer, "we're getting a message from the human commander." Ben Adams appeared on the screen. His uniform was torn and he had blood on his face, but he was smiling. "Nice fight," Ben said. "You win this round, but we're not done yet. Every world you attack, we're going to make you pay. Every ship you send, we're going to fight. You might beat us, but you're going to remember us." The screen went black. Admiral Kethvar stared at it for a long moment. In 200 conquests, he had never received a message like that. Usually, the defeated species begged for mercy. These humans were already planning their next fight. "Sir," said his tactical officer, "should we move on to the next target?" Kethvar looked at the casualty reports. 12 ships damaged, 3 ships captured, over 1,000 soldiers killed or wounded, all to capture one small mining colony. "How many human worlds are there?" he asked. "Over 300 colonies, sir, plus their home world." Kethvar did the math. If every battle cost this much, the war would take years. The Empire had never fought a war that lasted more than a few months. "Send a message to Imperial Command," he ordered. "Request reinforcements, and tell them that these humans are not like the other species we have conquered. They fight differently. They think differently. They are going to be a problem." Meanwhile, back on New Texas, the surviving humans were already planning their next move. They had lost this battle, but they had learned something important. The aliens could be hurt. They could be surprised. They could be beaten. The war was just beginning, and humanity was just getting started. The Second Imperial Fleet arrived at the edge of human space like a storm cloud. Admiral Kethavar watched the massive formation of ships take position around his command vessel. 800 ships now, veterans from dozens of conquest campaigns. "Surely this would be enough to crush the stubborn humans." "Admiral," said his communications officer, "Imperial Command is asking for daily reports. They want to know why this campaign is taking so long." Kethavar's forearms twitched with frustration. 6 weeks had passed since the first battle at New Texas. 6 weeks of fighting humans who refused to follow the rules of war. Every victory cost more ships. Every captured world had to be held by force. The humans just kept fighting. "Tell Imperial Command that these humans are different," he said. Colonel Sarah Williams stood in the command center of Jupiter Station, watching the alien fleet approach. The station was huge, built into the asteroid Io, with massive guns and shield generators. Around Jupiter, dozens of human ships waited in defensive positions. "Colonel, enemy fleet is 3 hours out," reported her tactical officer. "We count over 200 ships heading our way." Sarah nodded. She had been preparing for this moment for weeks. Jupiter Station was humanity's strongest fortress, built to guard the shipping lanes to Earth. If it fell, the aliens would have a clear path to humanity's homeworld. "All stations, this is Williams. Remember what we're fighting for. Every minute we hold them here gives Earth more time to prepare. Make them pay for every inch." The battle began when the alien fleet was still hours away. Human long-range missiles shot out from hidden positions throughout the Jupiter system. Most were destroyed by alien defenses, but some got through. The aliens learned that humans had turned the entire gas giant system into a weapons platform. As the alien ships got closer, they faced wave after wave of human fighters. Small, fast ships that darted in, fired everything they had, and tried to escape. Most were destroyed, but they damaged dozens of alien vessels and slowed their advance. "These tactics are wasteful," complained Commander Veltar from his ship. "They sacrifice their pilots for minimal damage." "No," said Admiral Kethavar, watching the human fighters attack his fleet. "They sacrifice their pilots to buy time. Each fighter that dies gives their main fleet another few minutes to prepare." The real battle began when the alien fleet reached Jupiter Station. The humans had built their fortress well. Energy shields protected the main structure, while hundreds of gun batteries fired at the attacking ships. The aliens found themselves in a crossfire from multiple directions. Sarah Williams coordinated the defense from deep inside the asteroid. Around her, human officers worked at their stations while the battle raged overhead. The station shook every time an alien weapon hit their shields. "Shield generators at 60%, reported her chief engineer. "Torpedo tubes 4 through 8 are offline," said her weapons officer. "Alien boarding shuttles approaching Dock 7, called her security chief. Sarah smiled grimly. The aliens were trying their standard boarding tactics again. They still did not understand humans very well. Major Chris Thompson waited in the docking bay with his Marines. When the alien shuttles broke through the station's outer hull, his soldiers were ready. The fighting was fierce and close, with humans and aliens shooting at each other across the metal corridors of the station. But this time the humans had a surprise. Dr. Lisa Zhang's research teams had been busy. They had built new weapons based on captured alien technology, but with human improvements. The guns were louder, messier, and much more dangerous. "Welcome to Jupiter Station," Chris said to the alien soldiers as his Marines opened fire with their new weapons. "Hope you packed a lunch because you're going to be here a while." The aliens were tough fighters, but they were not prepared for human weapons that could punch through their armor. They were not prepared for human soldiers. who used the station's own systems against them, and they were definitely not prepared for humans who had booby-trapped their own base. While the battle raged at Jupiter, Captain Danny Parker was leading human raids deep into alien territory. His ship, the Nighthawk, was fast and quiet, perfect for sneaking up on alien supply convoys. "Target acquired," said his pilot. "Alien supply ship lightly defended." Danny smiled. The aliens had made a mistake. They were using the same supply routes they had used in their other conquests. They had not learned that humans studied their enemies and looked for weaknesses. "Hit them hard and fast," Danny ordered. "Take what we can use and destroy the rest." The Nighthawk attacked the alien supply ship with missiles and energy weapons. The alien escorts tried to fight back, but Danny's ship was already moving to its next target. Within an hour, 3 alien supply ships were destroyed, and their cargo was floating in space. "This is for New Texas," Danny said as he watched the alien ships burn. Back at Jupiter Station, the siege continued for 3 weeks. The aliens threw everything they had at the human fortress, but the humans held on. Every day, more alien ships were damaged. Every day, the human defenders made the aliens pay a higher price. Finally, the alien fleet began to pull back. They had taken heavy losses, and Jupiter Station was still fighting. Admiral Keithvar realized that he could take the station, but it would cost him half his fleet. "Sir," said his tactical officer, "we could bring in more ships from the reserve fleet." Keithvar looked at the casualty reports. 50 ships destroyed, over 100 damaged. Thousands of soldiers killed, all to attack one human base, and they had not even captured it yet. "No," he said. "Pull back to long-range positions. We will try a different approach." Sarah Williams watched the alien fleet retreat and allowed herself a small smile. Jupiter Station was still in human hands. The aliens had been stopped, at least for now. "Send a message to Earth Command," she told her communications officer. "Tell them we held the line. Tell them the aliens can be beaten." Admiral Keithvar sent his own message to Imperial Command. It was not the kind of message he had ever sent before. "Request immediate reinforcements," he wrote. "The humans are not surrendering. They are not retreating. They are fighting back, and they are winning more battles than they should. We need the first Imperial fleet. We need the battle-tested veterans. We need ships that have never lost a war." He paused, then added one more line. "The humans are changing this war. They are not fighting to survive. They are fighting to win, and they are very good at it." The message was sent across the galaxy to the Imperial homeworlds. For the first time in the Empire's history, a conquest was not going according to plan. The humans were proving to be far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The first Imperial fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Over 1,500 ships, led by the massive dreadnought Emperor's Will. Admiral Keithvar had been given command of the entire force, with orders from the Imperial Corps itself. End this war quickly before other species in the Empire began to think they could resist too. "All ships prepare for final assault," Keithvar ordered. "Target? Earth. This ends today." Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Freedom, humanity's newest and most powerful warship. Around Earth, the human fleet waited. They were outnumbered 10-1. Their ships were smaller, their weapons weaker, their technology centuries behind. But they were human, and they were not giving up. "Sir, alien fleet is moving into attack formation," reported Captain Amy Patterson from her position at the communications station. "They're coming straight at us." Jake looked at the main screen showing the massive alien fleet approaching Earth. Behind him, his bridge crew worked quietly at their stations. There was no panic, no fear, just determination. "Send a message to all ships," Jake said. "Tell them, this is it. This is what we've been preparing for. Today we find out if humans really are as tough as we think we are." The message went out across the human fleet. On every ship, human soldiers and sailors got ready for the fight of their lives. They knew they probably would not survive. They knew the odds were against them. But they also knew they were fighting for their home, and that made all the difference. Dr. Lisa Zhang was in her laboratory deep inside Earth's moon. making final adjustments to humanity's secret weapon. For months, she had been working on something the aliens would never expect. Not advanced technology, but simple human engineering, taken to its logical extreme. "Are you sure this will work?" asked her assistant. Lisa smiled. The beauty of human engineering is that it doesn't have to be pretty or elegant. It just has to work, and this will definitely work. The battle began when the alien fleet was still hours away from Earth. Human missiles launched from hidden positions throughout the solar system. The aliens destroyed most of them easily, but some got through. More importantly, the missiles were not meant to destroy alien ships. They were meant to mark them. Captain Danny Parker led the first wave of human fighters. His squadron dove toward the alien fleet at maximum speed, ignoring the defensive fire that destroyed half his ships in the first minute. "Remember," Danny told his pilots, "we're not trying to win this fight. We're trying to set up the next one." The human fighters swarmed around the alien ships like angry bees. They fired everything they had, but their real job was to plant small devices on the alien hulls. Most of the fighters were destroyed, but they completed their mission. "Phase 1 complete," Danny reported as his damaged ship limped back toward Earth. "The targets are marked." Admiral Kethvar watched the human fighters retreat and shook his head. "Wasteful," he said. "They sacrificed their pilots for no gain." But he was wrong. The human fighters had gained something very important. They had put Dr. Zhang's devices exactly where they needed to be. The main battle began when the alien fleet reached Earth's orbit. The human ships fought with everything they had, but they were being pushed back. One by one, human vessels were destroyed or forced to retreat. It looked like the aliens were winning. Then Dr. Zhang activated her secret weapon. The devices that the human fighters had planted on the alien ships were not bombs. They were transmitters. Simple, crude transmitters that sent out a very specific signal. A signal that told every piece of human technology in the solar system exactly where to aim. Suddenly, the space around Earth lit up with weapons fire, not from ships but from everywhere. Asteroid mining stations that had been disguised as rocks, satellites that had looked like space junk, construction platforms that had pretended to be abandoned. All of them opened fire at the same time, targeting the marked alien ships. The aliens found themselves caught in a crossfire from every direction. Their shields were designed to handle attacks from other ships, not from an entire solar system that had been turned into a weapon. "Impossible," Admiral Kethvar said as his flagship took hits from 6 different directions. "How did they hide so many weapons?" The answer was simple. Humans had not hidden weapons. They had turned everything into weapons. Every piece of human technology in the solar system had been designed to fight if needed. It was the most human thing possible. If you can't build better weapons, build more weapons. Captain Amy Patterson's ship, the New Hope, led the final human assault. Her target was the alien flagship, the massive dreadnought that commanded the entire enemy fleet. "All ships, follow me," Amy ordered. "We're going to end this." The human ships charged toward the alien flagship. Most were destroyed before they got close, but Amy's ship made it through. She rammed the New Hope directly into the alien dreadnought's bridge, destroying both ships in a massive explosion. Without their flagship, the alien fleet began to fall apart. Ship after ship was destroyed by the hidden weapons throughout the solar system. The survivors tried to retreat, but human ships followed them, attacking their rear guard. Admiral Kethvar, now on a different ship, watched his mighty fleet being destroyed by the primitive humans. For the first time in his long military career, he was losing a war. "Sir," said his communications officer, "we're getting a message from the human commander." Admiral Jake Morrison appeared on the screen. His uniform was torn, and he had smoke stains on his face, but he was smiling. "Admiral Kethvar," Jake said, "I believe you have something to say to us." The alien admiral looked at the battle reports. Over half his fleet was gone. The rest were damaged and scattered. The humans were still fighting, still shooting, still refusing to give up. We surrender," Kethvar said quietly. Jake nodded. "Smart choice. Now let's talk about peace." 6 months later, Ambassador Pete Davis sat in his office on the Zeridian capital world. The peace treaty had been signed. The Empire had agreed to recognize human independence and establish trade relations. More importantly, word was spreading throughout the galaxy that the mighty Empire could be defeated. The Zeridian Emperor himself had come to the signing ceremony. He was old and wise, and he understood what had happened. "Your species is unusual," the Emperor had told Pete. "Most species fight to survive. You fought to win. There is a difference." Pete had smiled. "Your Majesty, you made one mistake. You told us to run. Humans don't run, we fight, and we're very good at it." Now Pete looked out his office window at the alien city below. Human ships came and went from the spaceport, carrying trade goods and diplomats. The war was over, and both species were learning to live in peace. But in the military academies throughout the Empire, young alien cadets studied human tactics. They learned about the species that had done the impossible. They learned about the warning that was now carved into the wall of every Imperial military school. Know your enemy. They may not be what they seem. The war was over, but the legend of humanity was just beginning.